If you're being reductive, basketball is nothing more than a group of people trying to throw an object through a hoop. Not the most exciting concept.
That's a big-time shot right there.
But in practice, basketball is so much more than that, combining athleticism and creativity into a dramatic show with seemingly endless possibilities. NBA Live does a decent job in communicating the bare essentials of the sport, but it fails to replicate the artistry of the professional game, or even what you see in your local gym.
Gets a piece of it, whistle sounds.
The problems are apparent from the opening tip-off. Players look like digital mannequins and move as if they're actually encased in plastic. Yes, Live is an eyesore, but it's not the lack of dazzling effects that proves so damning. Rather, it's how the visual roughness affects the action. When driving toward the hole, players hoist ugly shots that can be swatted back by any defender, even if they don't make contact with the ball. Passes fly from your hands like a whirling wiffle ball, and shots bounce weirdly off of rims. This unpredictability gives you little control in orchestrating an offense. Calling for a pick or a wingman to cut amounts to little when the basic mechanics fail you. Players glide across the court, drifting so close to a defender that the spacing has been destroyed. The postgame is about brutality rather than footwork. Trying to perform a spin move or hook shot often ends in a turnover, so you pound the defender, hoping to get the benefit of the whistle rather than another charge.
Chance for a three-point play. Count the basket and the foul.
Inconsistencies seep into the very logic of the game. In Rising Star, you create a rookie from scratch and mold him into a man worthy of admiration. At least that's how career modes usually play out. In Live, you're thrust into the starting lineup from the opening game. It's ludicrous to think the Cavaliers would draft a shooting guard for the second year in a row, and yet I was chosen by Cleveland and given Dion Waiters' spot in the lineup. In my second game ever, my goal is to have a higher grade than my opponent James Harden. Yes, Live wanted me to become the best shooting guard in the league in my second game. Totally reasonable.
Nice catch and shoot. Off target.
Live always struggles to mirror the thought process of real NBA players, but the AI becomes a mess in Rising Star. Kyrie Irving just dribbles at the top of the key while everyone else stands still, and then he hoists a shot with just under 2 seconds on the shot clock.
He sinks it.
This happens every time down the court, unless I tap a button to make him pass or start running around myself. You might think that venturing online would give you real competition. Well, that's not the case here. There's slight lag that undermines almost every strategy. Nailing the timing for an outside jumper or staying in front of your man in one-on-one defensive situations are maddeningly difficult. So you resort to chaos, or at least I did. You can drive to the basket every time down the floor, and as your opponent tries to run a real offense and fails, your lead will go to double digits and beyond. Eventually, they have to start chucking threes just to catch up, but the lag makes that suicide. If you know what you're doing, your goal shouldn't just be to win, but to force your opponent to quit before halftime. Victory never tasted quite so bitter. Despite the myriad problems on and off the court, Live has fantastic integration with the real league. Days after Jeff Green shocked the Heat with a last-second shot, there's a mode that lets you recreate that moment. Or I can replay the Pacers-Grizzlies showdown and try to get a triple-double with Lance Stevenson while holding Memphis to less than 79 points. Every team has challenges such as this, and you can lose hours toying around with the latest headlines. But that meshing with reality is ultimately just a tease. The on-court action is so uneven, so unsatisfying, that even rubbing defeat in Dwayne Wade's face eventually loses its appeal.
Takes it to the rim.
NBA Live 14 needs to spend time in the development league before it can be on the court with real pros.
Time winding down and just flips it up. So that'll end the